Hello and welcome to the Corporate Escapists TV show. I am your host, Christine Innes, and I'm so excited for you to join me here today and to join me with the beautiful and the very inspirational Shar Moore. So I can't wait for this conversation that we're about to have to really spark some beautiful conversations that you can have with yourself about how to follow your passion in life. And, Shar for me is somebody that I really, look up to and really admire. She has gone from being broke to BMW in 18 months. She is been able to use her life experiences to really inspire so many women around the world. She's an international speaker. She's the founder and the CEO of YMAG and an amazing business mentor. So thank you and welcome, Shar, to the show.
Oh, thank you, Christine, for having me. It's funny when you hear your bio being read out, you're like, wow, she sounds like an amazing person. I'd love to know her. You're like, oh, wait, that's me. I think we all do things as we go through our journey. We don't kind of stop and go, that was a big deal.
Yeah, look, I honestly, I've been sort of like, I don't want to use the word stalking, but maybe that is the right word, like to sort of go, oh my God, look what she does and look at all these things. And I'm like going, and when you reached out, I'm like going, this is sort of like one of those pinch me moments for me, just to sort of go, oh my God, you're here on the show. So I'm really grateful for you to have, share your time and your knowledge with the people watching the show today. And I know we're just going to have a beautiful conversation. So thank you again.
Oh, I'm so honoured that you're having me on, honestly. I love an opportunity to chat with someone like you that's doing amazing things and shaking things up and bringing a forum where people can learn from, because I know that my story may inspire one person listening or watching. So I'm so grateful for the opportunity, Christine. Thank you.
Oh, look, my pleasure. And I really love your story because we're sort of similar in a way that, we've gone from these really hard times, especially being broke. And, I've had to file for bankruptcy and sort of rebuild my whole entire life. And, I think it's those pivotal moments that we have in life that sort of give us that sort of wake up call, or, sometimes I call it a slap in the face from the universe to actually say, hang on a second, there's more to life here. Is that sort of like how you have approached it as well, to sort of not sit in that sort of victim mode, but to sort of go, what can I do this to really, change everything? I've got this opportunity now to go forward and make a big difference.
Absolutely. And you never realise that at the time. And I've had many slap me in the face from the universe moments in my life, as you call them. And, the youngest one being engaged at 11 years old because I'm Indian. At 15 and a half, having someone that was in my family asking me the question if it's what I wanted. And it was the biggest first slap in the face for me in the universe to say, well, actually, there is another path for you if you choose it. But even going broke to BMW after the Queensland floods, laying on the bathroom floor at 2 o'clock in the morning, an absolute mess, having my breakdown, and realising that now I can look back and say that was actually one of my greatest gifts, because it shook me out of an industry that I was in and loved and was doing extremely well financially, emotionally, just, from a reward perspective with what I was doing, but it wasn't my path. And then I went on that broke to BMW journey and repaid the debt and started YMAG digitally at the time. But then it led me into mentoring and business networking groups. And now I can look back and after 5 years of running those brands, I closed the networking group to take YMAG to print. So if I didn't have that moment, I couldn't have created what I have now. And as they say, diamonds are created in the rough. And I was on my knees literally 2 weeks away from filing bankruptcy. And it takes courage to fight it. It takes courage to go bankrupt, as you've done. And I know a lot of friends at the time were going down. So either way that you choose is just as difficult. And I just chose that I wanted to fight it and repay all the debt. And it was the path I chose, but it makes us who we are, Christine. And I think that's really important, to look back and shift your mindset from victim to victorious.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that even if I could go back in time, I don't think I would change any of the things, because I really do love the person that I am right now, because it's all of those pivotal moments that have happened in my life that has made me, the person who I am. And sometimes we need to go back and sort of remember that, and to really appreciate that that was really hard, but look what it's done and look how it's changed and transformed us. And it gives us that, you know, underlying power to be able to really then inspire people, to let them know, you know what, hey, I've been there, I've hit rock bottom, and then I've been able to do amazing things. And I really love the fact that you've used your story in such a powerful way, because I think a lot of women have this sort of shame and guilt associated with it. And I know that had been a lot for myself, that, you know, it took me a while to actually say that, hey, I had to go for bankruptcy and I had to, you know, end my second marriage. You know, like there's all these different things that we have shame and guilt associated with ourselves. But do you find that owning your story allows you to step more into your power and really allows you to sort of claim back everything that's happened?
Absolutely. And I think it's a really important point to make, Christine, because if we don't own our stuff, who's going to? And if we don't own our stuff, that means we're blaming other people. We allow everything that happens in our life, we give that power away. And I'm not saying in some circumstances we don't have that control, but majority of the time, and I mentor a lot of women, often it's because of choices they've made. So until they own them, they can't recognize the mindset that they had to make those choices, therefore they make them again. Once we own our stuff, we can then claim it. You know, we don't need to tattoo it on our forehead. We've lived it, we've felt it. In the same token, we can then move forward from it, because I don't believe in the big F word of failure. I believe they're all lessons and they're all stepping stones and breadcrumbs that are leading us to our beautiful cottage. And we just need to follow them. So take ownership for your stuff, hugely important. The moment that you start saying it's someone else's fault and blame is the moment you're giving more power away and control away to other people.
And do you find that, especially for women in business, that we want to have a different persona, but I think a lot of the times, and what I've found, and just from different conversations I've been having with especially women, is that once you own your story, that you allow that sort of vulnerability, but you also allow your authentic self to really shine through. And that's when people are then connected with you and they're like going, well, she gets me on a very personal level. So she's willing to help me a lot more because she's been there, or she really can appreciate and understand, you know, my journey of where I want to, you know, come from to go to, and the stepping stones that we need to put in place.
Yeah, look, definitely. And I think, you know, we can't build a relationship with someone who's wearing a mask. And that's so important. There's too many people that I like to term, you know, they play on fake book. And as you know, as you're one of my fellow stalkers, that, you know, you watch and see what I do, and I keep it really real. And I think that's why I've been able to build such a beautiful, loyal tribe of women all over Australia and the world that love what I post, because I keep it real. I don't play on Facebook. If I'm having a really tough day or not coping with something, I share that. I share the things that haven't been great. There's nothing worse than constantly posting the happy family or laughy pics and the beautiful salads, and that's not all real. And no one should be following that, because no one lives a life that's perfect. Everyone's definition of perfect is different anyway. So I think we all just need to take the mask off. It's so much effort to put it on and wear it and try and be something you're actually not every day. That's way too much effort for me. I really just can't be bothered, don't have time. And I also don't want to build relationships with people who think they're dealing with me based on who they perceive me to be rather than who I am, because I'm human. I've let my clients down, I've let family down, I've let friends down. You don't wake up intentionally to do it, but it's human nature. You might forget to call them or do something. So by me being real all the time, people go, oh, it's okay, she's human. I don't pretend to be anything else but. And I just encourage everyone watching, listening, just be you. That's why our hashtag in our magazine is just do you. Just own you and do you boldly. Shine the light on you, warts and all, because that's what the universe is waiting for you to just step up and be all you can be, not the best version of someone you're trying to copy.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to say that when I walked into my corporate job, I'd have my suit on and I would say it was my suit of armor because I literally felt like I needed to be protected and to show up as somebody else. But now I realize is that that was actually like I was actually drained because I would come home, I'm like, God, I'm really exhausted. But that was because I was trying to pretend to be somebody else that I wasn't. So, when we can show up and just be ourselves and, allow whatever happens in the day to sort of just evolve, um, it does make it a little bit easier. But it also allows us to, like you said, be human because I removed the word perfection from my vocabulary because it's simply unattainable. It's not something that we should ever strive to be because, as you said, we're human. We make mistakes and they're learning lessons, and we need to grow and learn from it. Otherwise, we can't better ourselves. We can't, help our clients more. We can't help our friends and family more if we're not learning from those types of experiences as well.
Definitely. And also, Christine, everyone's definition of every word in the dictionary is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And I do this, I play this exercise with my mentoring clients, and I ask them to define success, define failure, define perfection, define everything. And every one of them will come back with something different. So why do we do that then if there's no real benchmark? Some people's definition of success is being healthy and waking up every day. So other people is a money goal. Other people is work-life balance. So there is no one definition of success in business anyway. So what are you striving for? So we just need to do us. And then another key thing that's been really helpful for me is finding your tribe. So in YMAG, we have a group on Facebook called the She Hive. And the She Hive is all for women who buzz. And, it's an important colony. And I think it's really important for every one of us to find our place where we fit, because there's not one that fits everyone. And there's certain groups and networking groups in real life as well as online that you need to work out what's right for you. Where do you feel like you can walk in, mask off, and you're embraced for exactly who you are, you're loved because of it, and you're encouraged to step up and do more. If you're walking into a space where you're constantly conscious, fitting with your clothes, worrying what people are you're in the wrong room. You're in the wrong space. We need to be in an environment where we can thrive. And if we're not, we need to change our environment. And that goes for the people in our environment as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a live this morning, and it basically said, why are you trying to, fit into a place where you've outgrown? And as we develop, and especially as business women too, like we will find that we will be on different pathways. And I noticed that even in my life that, friends, we've probably sort of drifted apart because I've gone on a different sort of journey. And, especially when I've started to go more into the spirituality and all of that people, they don't understand. And I thought, well, I can tell you and I can explain things to you, but I don't need to force it upon you. I don't need you to accept me, because this is who I am. And if you don't like who that is, that's okay. And I think, when you go into business, you have to really go, you know what, I'm owning this, I'm stepping into my own power, and that's okay. And I do love the fact that you said, find your tribe, and, especially in networking places that you do go to, and you will feel that initial, oh, not sure if this is me, and you'll be quiet and you not want to speak up. So I love that. That's such a really great pieces of advice for people, just to let them know that if you're not feeling it, then it's obviously not right for you, and just keep moving along because you will definitely find the right people with it. Do you find that having, especially with the Y magazine that you have, and I was looking through the latest issue and, reading to some of the stories of people and, how that they've been able to really embrace not only who they are, but to really speak, and you're really passionate about that, is finding your why in business and finding, you know, what is the reason why you want to do it. So do you really think that that is probably the key foundation for people in business, to really go back to what is their reason why, especially if you lose a little bit of motivation, which is easy, especially when you work for yourself. You sort of go, oh, do I really want to do this today or not? But going back to that actual reason why.
Look, for me, 100% yes, every time I'm asked that question. It's everything that I do. I wear the why, I'm the why woman. Every brand I've created has a why in it. Why Network, Why Magazine, Why Mastermind, the Why Weekend, the Why Factor, you know, everything I do, because for me, I don't want to associate with anyone. You know, I'm nearly 50. I've you know, we've lived and worked in the Middle East and Thailand. We've got kids, we've got grandkids, we've got a very busy life, beautiful friends all over the world, busy businesses. We've got 3 projects on the go at any time. So for me personally, I need to make sure that if I'm going to give up some time, which is precious, that's the biggest commodity and most precious commodity we all have. And for me to do that, I need to make sure that that person I'm talking to wants to make a difference in this world. I believe that we're all born with gifts, our genius zone. It's your purpose in life, your why. And unless we actually unwrap those gifts during our time, then they actually go with us. So even though everyone is doing everything that we're all doing, there's TV shows out there, there's magazines out there, but we're still putting our own slant on things. So because our why, my purpose in life is to empower women to be the best versions of themselves despite where they've come from. And because of my childhood story, because I had opportunities taken away from me, I am now so fiercely passionate about meeting women. And as a mentor, which I've been for nearly 10 years, I see my clients for who they can become. And then I work hard with them to get their mindset and their business right so they can be who I see. So that's my why, apart from supporting underprivileged girls in India to have a future through education, which is our big why. Everyone has one. I like to call it your soul's fingerprint. We all have a fingerprint that's unique to us, which I think is phenomenally amazing, with how many people on the planet that you only have the fingerprint to yourself. I think that's phenomenal. Even more amazing is that you only have your soul's fingerprint is unique to you. And if we don't stamp our soul's fingerprint on this planet before we leave, and literally we are here for a minute, even if you live to 120, it's still a minute. If you don't do that, what did you come here for? We're not meant to be in this environment to work, pay the bills, do the washing, do the shopping, sort the kids out, run them around and then die. We are actually meant to make a difference. The reason that people don't step up, and this is from all the training I've done, plus all the clients I've worked with, fear of judgment is a huge one. Imposter syndrome. Who am I to go start a magazine? I had no publishing experience. I still really don't know what I'm doing 7.5 years in, but here we are. And I'm finding my way, and I'm being guided by my inner thoughts and feedback from our readers and the amazing women that we profile. But who was I? Was my initial thought. I have no experience. So it's really important to tap into your soul's fingerprint. Find people who will help you turn the voice up on your dreams, not squash them.
And that also comes back to the tribe too, because you need to be, you know, surrounded by people who are going to really encourage you, and people who will still ask you questions, not to put you down, but to sort of bring out the best in you and have those really sort of thought-provoking sort of conversations as well, to push you so that you can be the best version of yourself. And I think I said, you know, it's the 5 people that you surround yourself the most with, you know, and that's sort of who you become. So if you can find your tribe, find those people who are going to really encourage you, really help push you, and, you know, because they want to see the best out of you. And that's one of the reasons why I really do admire you, is because you're very passionate in your why. But in addition to that is that you actually live and breathe that. And there are people out there who say that this is their reason why, but then when you start to talk to them, their actual why reason is something else that's underlining, and that really does start to shine through. Before we wrap up, do you think that there's sort of one or maybe two pieces of advice that you would give to somebody out there who is either thinking of leaving the corporate world or, maybe just sort of feeling like they're in a bit of a rut in life and they've got this passion that they want to do something, but just don't know how to, get it started?
Absolutely. And I get asked this a lot, like, what do I do? What's my first step? For me, every day of the week, hands down, because it's been the biggest difference to my life, I can suggest if you're thinking of making that move and you're wanting to start something, please find yourself a mentor. Business coach if you want, or mentor. A mentor has walked the walk and a business coach has learnt the skills to help you walk the walk. So depending on which path you choose, I'm a mentor, so I teach what I've done or helped others do, not what I've read. So find someone. Honestly, every day of the week, honestly, I get people contacting me that say, oh, I wish I'd talked to you sooner. And I just feel like, how do we get this message out there? They've spent money with the wrong people. They've tried to do it their own way. They use the spray and pray approach. If I put enough out there, something will stick. It doesn't. You need a strategy. You really need the big game plan drawn out with someone who knows and it can sit in the helicopter of your big vision and your dream. For most of us, our vision and dream is so powerful that we're in it. So we can't see the big picture. You need a mentor to sit in the helicopter and look down and say, I get where you're at now, but we need to go this way before we go that way. And that mentor strategy session that you do will be the best investment you ever make. It saved some of my clients 12 months to 2 years and probably over 100K invested in the wrong places, trying this little course here and this little course there, when really they shouldn't have done any of that. So best piece of advice, I don't have a second one. If I had a second one, it would be find a mentor, which is the first one.
No, I absolutely love it. So, and I really do thank you for your time today. And I will put all the details, how you can follow Shar, have a look at what she does. And, it's not just the business aspect, but it's also you as somebody who, like I said, I really do admire, because you're living and breathing your talk and you're willing to give back. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you everyone for joining in today for today's episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show. Just make sure that if you do want to reach out, follow the links below, and just start having the conversation with yourself. And just remember that life is short and it is time for you to start following your passion in life. So love and light to you all, and I will see you all next week.